Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you are someone new here, just a little bit of background information about me and my YouTube channel is that this channel is basically just dedicated to makeup. So every week I post very honest makeup reviews, very informative makeup tutorials, which is obviously that's what today is. And I also do quite a few makeup giveaways, so if that's something that you are interested in, which hopefully it is because you've landed on this channel, then obviously please think about subscribing and turning on the notification bell, and obviously leave me some feedback in the comment section and let's chat. Now, today's video is a new series that I've just I'm just trying it out because I always get asked questions about how to do certain things in makeup. So I am a makeup artist, so obviously I've got like a little bit of insider knowledge and experience. So basically this is going to be Makeup Masterclass Monday. I've decided to call it. Basically each week I'm going to be posting one video which deals with one certain problem. So today's video is obviously how to avoid makeup like foundation from going cakey. So I've talked through that today really in depth and really tried to explain everything I'm doing and the reasons why. Obviously if that is something you're interested in, then obviously stick around to the end. I hope that you all learn something, and let me know if you do try out any of the tips that I've shared in this video. And I do hope that obviously that the tips I've shared today do work for you and do help you in your future makeup. What I'm going to be asking everyone who watches this video is to just type down below any common problems that you have with makeup. So I've already had loads of people DMing me on Instagram saying like, you know, I can't get lip liner to blend, so that's probably going to be next week's video. I can't get my concealer to blend into the rest of the skin, like the foundation. So I'm going to be going through all of these problems and hopefully teaching you how to achieve flawless makeup in a very easy, understandable way. Let me know what you think of this concept. But obviously I think it's a good one and something that I would have been interested in as a new beginner to makeup. When I first started out, I definitely could have done with short, precise videos dealing with one problem per video. So today's video is all about how to achieve flawless foundation, which is the look that I've got today. Now, I think it's flawless. You could think differently. This could just be too heavy for you, but for me, this is my perfect foundation for every day. So yeah, let's just jump in. So for me, good foundation that lasts all day and remains looking flawless for the whole day starts with good skin. So, well, good skincare rather than good skin, sorry. For today's tutorial, I am going to be going in with the Superdrug Naturally Radiant Moisturiser, and this is infused with plant extracts. So this is a day cream and it's got SPF 15 in, which is obviously a good thing, as that will stop our skin from, you know, getting aged by the sun, and also protects it from harmful rays. So I'm just going to be applying this all over the face, and then I'm really going to be working it in to the skin and obviously down the neck as well, which is so important, by the way. I always used to forget the neck, but I try my best now to remember it. So yeah, I'm really going to work this into the skin, and I'm going to allow it to soak into the skin for about 5 minutes or so. So while that is soaking into the skin, I'm just going to be talking about the foundation that I'm going to be going in with today. So I'm going to be going in with the MAC Studio Fix Fluid, which is also SPF 15, and my shade is NC20. So I'm going to be using that today. And how I apply foundation to myself and to clients is always with this little plastic palette, which is only from Primark, by the way, and was so inexpensive. So I prefer to use a plastic palette to put my foundation on, because if you put it onto the back of your hand, although it does warm the foundation up and probably makes it a little bit easier to apply to the skin, your skin naturally soaks up some of the foundation. So that's the reason why I actually just always use a plastic palette. So it saves on money in the long run, basically, because obviously your product's not being absorbed by the skin on the back of your hand. And I just find it a little bit easier, because I hate when I'm doing makeup and I've got all swatches of foundation and eyeliner on the back of my hand. I'll always end up touching some clothing that I'm wearing, so it's just a safer bet to do this. So yeah, this is from Primark and it was so inexpensive. I think it was roughly about £2. You could probably get these from anywhere. So as you've seen, I've done 3 pumps. I'm just going to do 2 more, so there's 5 pumps now. And I am going to be using a primer today. Although I've moisturised the skin, I actually do believe in using primers. I know that some people actually just think that moisturising the skin is enough, which could be for them, that's fine. Makeup is personal to everyone, but for me, I always like to go in with a primer. And this is one of my favourite primers. So this is from Fenty Beauty. It's the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer, and this is the soft matte version. I'm just going to be taking 2 pumps just onto my finger like that, and then I'm really going to be working this into the skin. And this really does feel just so soothing on the skin. I really do love this primer. And a tip that I do with this primer is I put some of it just underneath the under eye, because I actually believe it helps to stop concealer from creasing on the under eye. So if you have this Fenty Beauty primer, then maybe give that a little try. Let me know what you think. So I'm just going to do one more pump now, a smaller pump just for the forehead. And again, I'm just going to be letting this sit on the skin. And while it's sitting on the skin and just soaking into the skin for the next few moments, I'm just going to be talking through the reason why I use a primer. So the reason I like to use a primer is because I actually do believe that it helps makeup to last as long as possible. And obviously primers are all different, but they do each have their own benefits. So this one, if I remember rightly, it kind of like blurs imperfections, smooths the skin, and obviously it's a matte primer. So if you are oily, it should help with oils seeping through into the foundation. I'm not oily, my skin is normal to combination. I'm oily in certain areas, but majority of my face is just normal, it's not dry or oily, it's just normal. So I've definitely got combination skin, but this primer works like a dream for me. The makeup that I use literally seems to last all day, and I actually find I really have to give an extra good scrub to my skin when I use this primer, because it does that much of a good job of actually keeping the makeup on the skin for a very, very long time, and really keeps the makeup looking fresh, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about this primer by Fenty Beauty. I love it, it's definitely one of my holy grail products. But yeah, let me know what you think. So now that that's soaked into the skin, I'm just going to be going in and applying foundation. Now, my routine for foundation, I'm going to be really going in depth with this, because obviously, like I explained in the intro, one of the questions I am always asked is how to stop foundation from looking cakey. But I do like to build foundation up in layers. Now, I'm just going to be talking about my favourite foundation brushes. So this is the Morphe M439 brush. I absolutely love this brush for applying foundation. It gets the job done quick because it is such a big brush really, and it really helps give a full coverage by using a brush. So if that's the look you're going for, then I definitely recommend using a brush, and this one is a really good one. So another favourite brush is from Peaches and Cream. Now this brush, I don't know what number it is, but I will try and find out and leave it on the screen. But the numbers have worn off because I love it that much. But those two are very similar. This is a bit more of a dome shape, which really helps with getting into, like, you know, the creases around the nose and stuff. But I do love them equally the same really. So I'm going to be using one of these brushes today to apply the foundation. So to apply the foundation, I'll actually just take my finger and just dab it onto the skin. And then I will go in with a brush and then a beauty blender. So I'm just going to expand on what I was saying before about why I like to use brushes. So a brush will give you a more full coverage look when you compare that to a beauty blender, and I find it doesn't soak up as much product as beauty blenders or beauty sponges do. So I'm just going to demonstrate that now. So I'm going to be going in with the Morphe M439 brush, and as you can see, I'm literally just pressing this into the skin. I don't swirl the brush or swipe or drag the product down. I'm literally just pressing that into the skin. And the reason that I actually just press it into the skin is because I do think that that's how you achieve the most full coverage. Rather than swiping or rubbing, you just literally press into the skin, and I think that disrupts less product, which is a good thing. And if you have problematic skin, like if you have really dry skin, then obviously you don't want to be pulling product across the face or buffing in really hard, because it's kind of going to exfoliate your skin, and you are probably going to move some texture. So if you have really dry skin that has flakes, then if you're dragging foundation around the skin and really buffing it down and really putting a lot of pressure on the skin, then obviously you are going to disrupt some of your skin texture, which is obviously not what you want. So that's the reason why I personally just press the foundation into the skin, and I really do swear by this method. So if you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try. Now also as well, the way you see me just go in with my fingertip, now the reason I'm doing that is because I truly believe in building up foundation. I don't like putting a lot on at first. I'd rather just do a few little dabs here and there and then build it up, because then you can really get a good look at where you need extra coverage. Whereas if you just go in with all the foundation all over the skin, then I feel like, for one, it's much of a harder job to try and go in and spread the foundation evenly, and then some of it will be running and dripping around the face depending on how liquidy the foundation is. So I actually really do believe in just layering foundation. Now the only place I actually do rub foundation in, well, when I say rub I mean like move the brush, is on the neck, and that's just to buff it down. And then I really do press it into the hairline as well. So with the remainder of what's left, I'm just going to pick that up on the brush and just dab over the cheeks. Now obviously the foundation that you choose is obviously paramount to how it will look on the skin. I normally go for a full coverage or medium coverage foundation, but if you just want a light coverage foundation, that's fine, but I would still use the same techniques. Like I explained before, the brush will give you a more full coverage, so if you do go for a light coverage foundation, then this technique could still be for you, because it's only a light coverage foundation anyway. It's not going to build up, you know, to a full coverage even doing this technique. But yeah, you could still do this technique with a lightweight coverage foundation. But obviously just be aware that this is the way to get the most full coverage, basically, I think, and the most flawless coverage. So what I'm going to do now is go back in with just 2 more pumps of the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. And I'm just going to go over the places where I know that I actually do need coverage. So that for me is the forehead, definitely on the chin, and along the nose as well. So again, I'm going back in with the Morphe M439 brush. And I actually don't tend to take the foundation up to the under eyes. I just more dab over it really. And that's because I think if you put too much product on the very sensitive and thin under eye skin, then it's more likely to just crease. I think personally concealer is heavy enough for the under eye. So that's the reason why I don't emphasise putting a lot of foundation onto the under eye. So I'm quite happy with that coverage now. So what I'm going to do now is go in with a beauty blender, and this is because sometimes when you do use a brush, you can actually get hair strokes in the foundation. So using a beauty blender to just literally press on top of the foundation really will just airbrush the makeup basically. So that's why I do this step every time I apply foundation to myself or to clients. So again, with the beauty blender as well, I'm not swiping or dragging or rubbing or buffing in. I'm literally just bouncing this on top of the skin. And so far, I am actually really happy with the coverage of this foundation and how flawless it has actually applied. So I'm just going to take the remainder of the foundation directly onto the beauty blender, and again just bounce that into the skin. Now this next step, it really is an extra step. Now I don't normally do this in my everyday makeup routine, but if I really need my foundation to last all day and be flawless all day, which is obviously what people want, the ones who've requested this tutorial, that's what obviously I'm assuming everyone's looking for flawless foundation that does not look cakey. So I'm just going to show you this extra step. It is optional, but for me, if I'm going for a really flawless look, I would always do this. So the next step is to go in with a loose setting powder. So I'm going to be going in with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder, and my shade is Butter. So I'm going to be using that today, and I'm just literally going to be doing a light dusting all over the foundation. So I'm going to be going in with a Real Techniques blush brush, which as you can see is just a big fluffy brush. So I'm just dipping in, and then I am going to be tapping off quite a lot of the excess. We don't want to bake the whole face, we just literally want to, you know, do a light dusting all over the skin. Just take a little bit more. And what this will do is it will just mattify the foundation, which is obviously really good if you are somebody who gets oily. And it will also just make the foundation last a little bit longer. And in pictures, when you do this, it really shows up absolutely flawless. Like, I've tried this technique on clients and on myself, and it really does show up so well in photographs. So obviously what you want to be doing is, when you do pick your own powder, you don't want it to be adding much colour to the foundation. You literally just need it to be a powder that is like, you know, translucent basically. Even though this one's not translucent, it's butter. For me, when I've used this, it doesn't actually change the colour of the foundation. So that's what you're aiming for when you pick up your loose setting powder. Maybe just go for the shade translucent, and that will do the trick. Now, as you're seeing, I did not use a lot. I just literally lightly dabbed a dusting over the skin, and yeah, it will give you those results that I was talking about before. So I'm quite happy with that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go off camera, do all the rest of the makeup, and then I'm going to check back in and show you how the other products have sat on top of the skin. And then I'm also going to show you a few last finishing touches that I do to achieve flawless foundation. So guys, this is the finished and completed look. So as I explained before, I am just going to talk through one last tip now of how to achieve flawless looking foundation. So this is how the skin looks now that all the other skin products have been applied, and in my opinion, all other products have gone on top of that foundation really nice. I do actually have pores, like not super enlarged, but I do actually have pores, so that's a bit of texture. But even with highlight on, I just think you can't really notice my pores that much. And I did have some blemishes on the forehead, but they've gone now because obviously I've patted the foundation in, set the foundation as well. So I am now super happy with how the foundation looks. So the last tip that I always do when trying to achieve a flawless makeup application is to go in with a setting mist. So this is the only one I've got at the moment. I've run out of all my other ones, but this is the Primark PS Prep and Perfect Prime and Infuse Instant Hydration Priming Spray. Now, I think the idea is you probably should use this before you apply makeup because it is a priming spray. But obviously I've used my Fenty Beauty primer today, so I'm not like too worried. But yeah, I'm going to go on top with this now. Spray the face, and I'm going to do quite a generous amount. I do actually use quite a bit of this to make sure the face is obviously refreshed. And in my opinion, setting mists like this take away that powdery look and bring the skin back to looking like actual skin. Even though it looks like skin now, obviously this is just like an extra step that I feel takes away the powdered look. And then what I do is, once I've sprayed this on the face, this is a little fan. So I'll just literally fan my face until the liquid has actually dried. So I'm just going to do that now. So guys, this is the finished and completed look now that the priming spray has dried on the skin. This is how the skin's looking, and to me, this is my perfect foundation. This is how I want my foundation to look every single time. I want it to be flawless, I want it to be dewy. I want it to be matte at the same time though. Like, I don't want any oil seeping through, which is not, because obviously we've used the Fenty Beauty matte primer, we've set with powder, and I'm obsessed with how the looks turned out. I hope that you like the look too. Let me know what you think of the foundation now that you've seen the process and all the tips I've shared. Obviously, let me know. I hope that you think it's as flawless as I do. But yeah, imagine you just thinking like it doesn't look flawless at all. But yeah, I hope that everyone's learned something. Thank you so much for sticking around to the very end. I really do appreciate it. And obviously, since you have made it to the end, don't forget to like this video, please subscribe, and obviously turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of my weekly uploads. and obviously my new, what's it called? Forgot. Makeup masterclass Monday. Yeah, so you won't miss that. But yeah, apart from that, I'll see you in the next tutorial, and thank you for watching.